Hey everybody, it's Bill Slocum again, and in this short little video I'm going to show you how to customize your ArcGIS Online web map display. So how do you change the appearance of the map for you or someone that you're going to provide this map to? Well, I'll get to that, but first things first, some disclaimers. Neither the National Park Service nor NC State University endorses or recommends any commercial products, processes, or services. This material may not be used for advertising or product endorsement purposes. This material is intended for educational purposes only. Neither the U.S. government nor NC State University warrants or assumes any legal liability or responsibility for the accuracy, completeness, or usefulness of any information, apparatus, product, or process disclosed. Alright, so I'm going to customize my web map display. I'm going to show you how you can change the order of the layers. There's a reason and rhyme for why the layers are arranged the way they are. I'm going to change the style. In other words, change how those different layers look, and I'm going to change some points for you. We'll set the visibility range, so that means it's scale dependent. Depending on if you've got a lot of data, you may not want to show it all at one time. And I'm going to create some labels, and finally, just for fun, show you how to look at the attributes associated with those data sets, and that is through showing the table. So if you forgot or you don't have it bookmarked, you can access your National Park Service ArcGIS Online account by going to arcgis.com or nps.maps.arcgis.com. Alright, so I've already logged into my account here, and I've already created a map. I did that in one of my earlier videos. So I'm going to navigate to my content where I've had that saved, and I've got that under my tutorial videos here. And I created my Colonial National Historical Park base map, and I'm going to view that in a map viewer. So we'll just wait for that to open up here. And you can see that I have my map display in front of me, and I've got three layers. I've got the kilometer markers along the parkway, and that's what those look like. I've got my weather stations. Turn those on and off. You can see those displaying and around the map display, and here's kind of what the stations and the buoys look like. You can see that. And I've also got my Land Resources Division track and boundary data, and I can turn that on and off as well in my map display. So I want to change the order of these layers. Well, this can be kind of temperamental, and it may not display well on this map, but what you'll do is you'll notice over here on the left, after I've put my cursor over the layer name, I can click and drag to reorder the layers. This is a common thing you want to do, and a good rule of thumb is to put the points on top of lines and the lines on top of polygons so that it is easy to view in your map, and it draws from the bottom up. So the first thing it'll draw is my land resources data, and then it'll stack the weather stations on top of that, and finally the colonial kilometer markers on top of that. So you can rearrange the order to make a better visual display. So I want to change the style of this layer right here, kind of make it pop up and just show you some additional palettes. There is a handy drop down box when I'm in the contents version of my map display where I can drop that down and do a whole host of things. The first thing I'm going to do is change the style. And I want to work through the little GUI interface they have here. I want to show the location, and I want to change how that is displayed. So I simply click on the symbols, and here you'll see you have several palettes to choose from. Well, we have one for our National Park Service organization, so I'm going to choose that and choose this little Jeep here for a kilometer marker. That's just the one I'm going to choose. And I can change the size of this, and notice there at the top of my dialog box, it gets large and it gets small. You'll just need to explore with this and try things to see what works best for you. And I'm going to say OK. And you can see now that I see my symbols have changed. And I'm going to click OK. But you can change the transparency here if you would like. You see they'll disappear. Or if you want to make them about 50% transparent, you can do that as well. Again, it's going to be up to how you want to symbolize your data. I can also make it so that it displays at different scales. So if I bring it all the way out to the world, and I only want to show it at the state and world level, you'll notice that in my display, they've gone away. So I want to bring those back because they're really meant, to be seen at a good level. I'm going to say the county level. No, I'm going to say the state level, just to make sure. And I'll say OK. And I've changed my style. I'm going to say done, and I'm going to save my work. All right. There's another way to set the visibility range and the transparency. So if I go up to my layer in my content pane here, I can change that transparency here as well. And you can see that as I move my slider bar, the transparency changes from opaque to transparent. I can set the visibility range here as well so that I can make it so that the data only displays when the user is zoomed in to a particular scale. And if it's not available at that scale, it would be grayed out over here in this contents pane. So I'm done with that. Now I want to create labels. I know that all of these little kilometer markers actually have data associated with them. So going back to my little drop-down box, I'm going to say create labels. And here you can see that it automatically labels it. I have to label it by default, says label features. But, these numbers here correspond with the actual kilometer marker, but I'm going to get rid of that. And I am going to choose feature 3. I can choose to make the symbol, the labels a little bit larger if I want to. Or I can stick with that default that popped up. And I can change some other characteristics such as the color and if it's bold or not. So now it's not bolded. And I can choose where to put those labels. And now this again is just going to take time for you to work with. But I'm happy with this display, so I'm going to click OK. And now I've got one more quick thing to show you. There are data associated with these. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to label them. Again, to the right of your layer while you're in your contents pane, I can say show table. It's going to go out into the GeoCloud. It's going to retrieve that. And now you can see that I've got the X and Y coordinate. These are in UTM. That's how Colonial stores their data, and that's the way the data is displayed here. But you'll notice that when I click on one of my records, it actually highlights that record on the map display. And you can see that changing here as I choose a different marker. There's one. Now it's changed to that one. I'll scroll back up. I'll choose this one. And you can see that it's been highlighted here. So it has that dynamic capability of showing you what you've clicked on and where it is in the map display. Maybe you need that for a monitoring site that you like to go to look at the water levels within the park, or you know that that is a particular place to get to a campsite. You know you want to go to campsite 20. You could click on that and see where campsite 20, in this case kilometer marker 20, is located. So just to recap, I've got my map that I created through ArcGIS Online. And by using the handy drop-down tools I have next to my layer name, I can change the style, I can manage those labels, I can show a table, I can hide a table as well. and I can also set the transparency and the zoom rate. Alright, so I'm done with my map display. It's how I like it, and I'm going to, once again, save early and save often. Okay, thanks a lot, and I hope you have a good day.